Well, I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Jazz Broganzo, another episode of What's Next. I was only going to do one video today regarding Joe Biden's Joe Dementia trying to force private companies to either Vaxx, show us your papers, or else Hell Hydra. But this one just caught my eye, so I'm going to do a quick video regarding this one. We are going to revisit the joys of Reid, you know, that lovely woman on that Barely Watched network. And once again, more stupidity and garbage spewage from this show. Yeah, let's take a look. This comes out of Breitbart. Schmidt, majority of country enraged. Ooh! By unvaccinated endangering America's children. Former 2008 McCain presidential failure campaign manager Steve I Suck a Big Bag of Schmidt said Thursday on MSNBC's The Barely Watched Readout that the majority of Americans, big quotes, were enraged by the unvaccinated endangering America's children. Anchor Joy Reid said, I don't know if you agree with me on this, but I feel like the majority of Americans are vaccinated already, right? We're talking 6, 7 out of 10. No. Turns out that 60% of the country is unvaccinated. 60%. 60% of blacks in this country are unvaccinated. But yet, we don't want to talk about that, Joy, because that may lead to racism. And coming from the race lady, thank you, Tucker, may say something ill will about your show. Most of the people that are vaccinated are irritated about these refusing to do the easy thing and save us from this nightmare pandemic. Schmidt, I think the majority of this country is enraged, angry, Hulk mad about being held hostage by an extremist and transient junk science believing minority that is endangering America's children. We're in the opening months of what will be the children's phase of this pandemic. We will see death of America's children. Ooh.
About someone else who, like I would say Ulysses S. Grant, who should have more statues, it was decisive today. President Biden, there is a lot of caterwauling going on among Republican governors. We'll put up the list, 17 so far and counting, starting with Greg Abbott, who had a weird comment about choice, and ending with Tennessee's Bill Lee. We'll just put that up. They're quite upset with this mandate. But I got to tell you, Steve, I don't know if you agree with me on this. I feel like the majority of Americans are vaccinated already, right? We're talking about 6, 7, and 10. In some states, it's 70%. And most of the people I know who are vaccinated are irritated and really impatient at this point with those who are refusing for whatever reason to do this easy thing to save us from this nightmare pandemic.
Oh, yes.
Do you agree with the sort of Dave Wassermans of the world that Biden now being real decisive and coming down strong on the side of the vaccinated is actually good politics for him and bad politics for Republicans?
You used the word irritated, which is evidence of your magnanimity. I think the majority.
Big words, Steve. Wow, it took you all day to put that one together.
About being held hostage by an extremist, intransigent, junk science believing minority that is endangering America's children. We're in the opening months of what will be the children's phase of this pandemic, and we will see death of America's children. And
my thoughts. Steve Schmidt is a asswipe and a ass clown. When you are putting out there that those who are unvaccinated, and I don't care who you are, left, right, center, I don't care. It's none of my business for me to know whether you have been vaccinated or not. Just like I expect the same if you were to ask me. And if you ask me, it's none of your damn business. You have millions of Americans, about 100 million Americans who have yet to take the poke. And that's their right. That is their right. And it's not for Joe Biden to use federal force against private businesses, which he can, because of course it's unconstitutional and there will be massive lawsuits, as I talked about in my last video. But when you have clowns like Steve Schmidt, who led a losing campaign with a loser like the late John McCain, because he was jealous of President Trump's successes, this is what you get. And you know that Steve Schmidt doesn't have the balls to go on a show like Tucker, or even to go on The Blaze, or to go on a Steve Deese, or to go on the Daily Wire, or any show. Even someone like Dave Rubin, who is a liberal, to go on his show and get his side. But no. He goes on the echo chamber, which is a very, very microscopic echo chamber, on Joey Reid's show. But you expect nothing less. Talk about junk science. The so-called Delta variant, junk science is what has shut down Australia. That is junk science. Draconian measures. We are talking Germanesque measures being used against an entire nation like Australia. But this clown, Steve Schmidt, and a bigger clown, Joy Reid, for having him on a show, but then again, it's no surprise. No surprise at all. But for those who actually believe in the real science regarding hydrochloroquine, the real science regarding ivermectin, that horse dewormer that Joe Rogan used, and that Joe Rogan has been able to use other therapeutics in kicking the cough and coming back on his podcast, 2-3 days later? Yeah. So, but this is what you're going to continue to get. Scare tactics. This is flat out panic porn, as Steve Deese likes to say. When you call out that if the unvaccinated don't get the poke, they're going to cause the death of America's children. That's slanderous. That is slanderous bullshit. But then again, what do you expect from an ass clown like Steve Schmidt? And with that being said, I'm Jazz Braganzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more just like this? Please leave a comment below, like it, share, subscribe to it, hit the notification bell so you never miss a thing. And the stupidity continues coming from the left. What are you going to do? Peace out, guys.